Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
J. Edgar Hoover's favorite radio program, This Is Your FBI, the official broadcast of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, sponsored by a life insurance company, no less. This episode, Old Mother Larceny, was originally broadcast May 25th, 1951.
The Equitable Life Assurance Society presents This Is Your FBI. This is Your FBI, the official broadcast from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Presented transcribed as a public service by the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community. Later in the program, we will bring you an important message from Mr. J. Edgar Hoover on our nation's internal security. Tonight, the subject of our FBI file, robbery. Its title, Old Mother Larceny.
What kind of homes do criminals come from? That's a question frequently asked of members of the FBI. The average person usually visualizes a dark, crowded tenement in the slum area of a large city as the typical breeding ground of delinquency. Actually, of course, in millions of such homes, conscientious parents who really put their hearts into their job overcome the handicaps of poverty and bad environment. Their children grow up to be successful men and women and good citizens. The truth is that criminal homes are found in good neighborhoods as well as bad, in city and country and small towns. Almost always, the common denominator is a parent who, for one reason or another, cannot measure up to the responsibilities of parenthood. In tonight's case from the official files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, you will meet such a parent, and two sons who are the inevitable products of the kind of upbringing they received. Tonight's FBI file opens on a river running past a large Midwestern city. It is late evening as a small boat drifts aimlessly toward a barge loaded with freight cars. In the rear of the small boat, a man lies motionless. In the prow stands a tall, heavy-set man. As he sees a figure move on the barge, he lifts his head and yells,
"Fresh fish! Fresh fish! Mister, you want good fresh fish?
No, go eat.
Maybe your friends buy some.
Nobody up here but me.
Then you buy. We gotta get money for more wine. Buy one, mister. 10 cents.
No.
A nickel.
No.
Would you like fish?
I don't want any.
I'll make you a present. You take a fish free, for nothing. You be my friend.
Will you get out of here if I do?
Sure. We get wine money someplace else. How about a fish like this?
That's fine.
Swell, mister. You take it. Okay, Danny. Come on board. Let's get to work.
Meanwhile, in the same city, in the basement of a large office building, an FBI agent is practicing at an indoor pistol range. He is firing his last rounds as Agent Jim Taylor approaches.
Larry, can I see you a minute?
Yeah, sure, Jim.
I just got a call. They want us upstairs.
Oh?
They tell me you're handling Becker's cases while he's out.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we might be getting a lead on those stolen watches.
I haven't hit that file yet.
Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, thanks. Can you fill me in?
Yeah. About 6 months ago, 2 men knocked out the watchman at the freight yard, broke the seal on a car from New York, and stole almost 300 wristwatches.
Quite a haul.
Yeah, about $6,000 worth. Oh, this is the only elevator running tonight.
Yeah.
The only description we got was that one of the men was tall and heavy set. It all happened at night, and the watchman never did get a good look at them.
And you say we may be getting a lead?
Yeah. We had the list of serial numbers inside the watch cases, and it just paid off.
Oh, how?
Well, a soldier in Korea returned one of the stolen watches to the factory to be repaired.
Uh-huh.
The Army sent a cable for us and found out the watch was bought at a local store.
Which one?
Little place on Broadway, Calhoun's Jewelry Shop.
Is he a fence?
No, I went to see him. He's giving us full cooperation.
Well, can he help?
Yeah, he remembered buying the watches from an itinerant salesman. Gave him the name he used and a good description. I sent them both along to Washington. Go ahead in, Larry.
Yeah, thanks.
16, please.
Does Calhoun have any idea what the salesman's name was?
No, but he promised to come by the office tonight, go through our file of pictures. That was this afternoon.
Uh-huh.
Well, then he called a couple of minutes ago to report the salesman came back to the store.
Tonight?
Yeah. Wanted to sell Calhoun binoculars this time. And instead of stalling, Calhoun accused him of selling stolen watches, said he was taking him to the police. Well, the mention of that, the salesman ran.
To get away?
Yeah.
You say Calhoun's coming to the office?
Yeah, he's on his way now, so let's lay out those pictures.
Just a minute. Coming.
Hello, Mrs. Berian.
Mr. Martin, come in, come in.
Thank you. Yeah. Where are the dead end kids?
Not home yet. Come on out into the kitchen. I'm cooking something special for them.
Al told me Danny and him were getting some binoculars tonight. How'd they make out?
Oh, I don't know. They never bother me with business. Meatballs and fried onions.
Ah, wonderful. How soon will they be back?
Who knows about them? If you could tell where they'll be the next minute, would they be my babies?
Babies? You couldn't hide them in Grand Canyon.
Why don't you wait and eat with them?
No, thanks, I can't. I got to meet my girl. You don't know when they'll be back, huh?
No.
Well, I got to see him and get those binoculars the first thing in the morning.
Well, why so fast? Last time, with the watches, you said it was better to leave them for a little while.
Well, that was different.
Mr. Martin, you're not in some trouble.
Me? Say, you want to know how lucky I am? I win crooked raffles.
Oh, you're like my boys. Always fun comes first. Say, you know what they did to me last night?
No.
When I sleep. The building could fall down.
Yeah.
So last night, they come in my room and carry me on my mattress out to the kitchen. Then they made me get up and cook them a whole meal in the middle of the night.
Mrs. Berian, I'd like to stick around and hear how you locked each other in the gas chamber, but I can't see. So tell Al to call me when he gets back.
Man from the jewelry store was here, Larry.
Yeah, when?
While you were in with the SAC, he went through our pictures. No luck.
Anything else we can do tonight?
Nothing I can see.
Oh, will you take that, Jim?
Yeah. Taylor speaking. Yes, Captain. When? Any descriptions? What'd they get? Yes. Yes, right away. Thanks for calling. Larry, it was Captain Jones, 1st Precinct. Another interstate freight car was broken into tonight.
No?
This one was on a barge. 2 men did the job, got 3 crates of binoculars.
That's what the salesman offered Calhoun.
And the M.O. used tonight was the same as on the wristwatch theft.
Did they leave any evidence this time?
Well, the railroad police are waiting for us to inspect. Larry, will you run up to Pier 11? I'll cover the hospital.
Yeah. Hospital?
Well, the watchman passed out after reporting the robbery. He's at emergency ward now. I'll wait to see him and try to get some dope on the 2 thieves.
Ma!
Boys, you're home.
We did it, Ma!
Oh, I couldn't breathe.
What do you have to breathe for? 3 cakes of binoculars. Pretty good, eh?
Hey, what's that I smell, huh?
Meatballs and fried onions.
Well, come on, let's get at 'em. Ma, you booby-trapped me.
All right, now get up. We're going.
Come on. Oh, brother, am I hungry.
Well, sit down. It's ready.
Oh, boy.
Hey, looks good, Ma.
I tried to give some to your friend, Mr. Martin.
Oh, is he here?
Oh, didn't I tell you?
Nah.
I guess all the excitement had made me forget. He wants you to call him.
First we'll eat.
I don't understand, Mr. Martin. Last time he said you should hold the watches. Tonight he wanted the glasses right away.
Well, just sell them?
Yeah, he wants them tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's funny. Why she want so quick?
I don't know. Maybe we should find out.
No. Oh, Al, you forgot.
Huh?
Ma's present.
Ah.
What, you brought me something?
Yeah, go get it.
Yeah, sure.
What is it?
We picked out the best pair of binoculars for you.
What do I need with them?
You'll be able to see in the windows on the next block.
Well, I don't know anybody there.
Well, you didn't know the people across the street when you started looking in their place.
But who can see to the next block?
With these glasses, it'll be like you're in the same room. Here, Ma, here. Take a look, huh?
All right. Oh. Oh, it's wonderful.
Okay, Ma. Put them down. You'll wear them out.
Come on, what's the joke?
Look at the mirror. We put black polish inside the glass.
I got two black
Did Washington send anything yet?
Yeah, Larry, that ident just came through.
Oh, who is it?
Somebody named Eric Martin. His pictures are on the way.
How come we didn't have one?
No local arrest record.
Oh.
He's from back east originally. Been convicted 4 times on confidence charges, twice for handling stolen goods.
Well, sounds like the right man.
I've sent out a warrant on him. I wish we could get something on those other 2.
I got 0 at the bar.
Huh?
Not a single print inside or outside the freight car.
Well, that about matches what the watchman contributed.
Couldn't he give you any description?
Well, nothing we don't know. The one who did the slugging was big and heavy set.
So all we got to work on is the ident on Eric Martin.
Yeah, but that might be enough. If we can find him, Larry, we might come up with a whole trio.
Hey!
Oh, hi, Eric.
A little respect for a king-size hangover, huh? Oh, gee, right here. Oh, those crates in the truck, is that the merchandise?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's have the keys.
Keys to what?
The truck. I got to deliver that stuff this morning.
Where's all the big jokes today?
In those bottles I emptied last night. Now, let's have the keys and I'll get started.
Wait a minute. Al wants to talk to you. Al? Al?
Yeah?
Eric is here.
Ah. Hello, Eric.
You don't feel so good today.
What's the matter?
Look, I came here to get some binoculars, not have a physical exam.
He wants to take the truck and deliver the binocs to some guy.
Who's the guy?
Did I ask you where you stole them? Come on. I'm in a hurry.
Before you go, we ought to have a drink.
Well, that I can use.
All right, I'll go get the bottle.
Did you get those lugs off?
Oh, no.
I got them. I went by your hotel this morning to see you, Eric.
Oh?
They said you checked out. Where you living?
Well, no place. I figured when I got my piece of this action, I'd move to a nicer joint.
I couldn't find you at the hotel. I went to see your girlfriend. What a hangover she had.
Yeah, well, I'll match mine with anybody's.
I took her out and bought her a drink.
Hey, I had to open a new bottle.
Huh?
Well, you drink first. You guys, that might be gasoline. Okay, now, come on. Let's have it.
Hey, Eric, your girl says you did a lot of chalking last night.
Did you ever see a silent drunk? Huh?
She says you even told her the cops were looking for you, but you didn't care. You said you were making a big score today and you'd pick her up and take her away with you.
I'll have to change brands.
Those 3 crates would make a nice score, wouldn't they?
Oh, no, Al, you don't think he was going to grab the stuff and run?
Ask him.
Now, listen, you ought to know that I wouldn't pull a thing like that.
Well, after what she's told me, I'm not so sure.
Oh, look, Al, we're pals.
How do you explain what she told me?
Well, it's perfectly logical. I figured on the money I'd be getting from you.
What you get from me ain't big enough to blow town on.
Now, look, if you don't want to believe me, we'll call the deal out.
It ain't that easy.
Look, don't.
I want to talk about it some more.
Don't, Al. Don't. I don't feel good, honest.
You mean you need some air?
Yeah, I need air.
Well, we can take care of that. We'll take you for a little ride in our boat.
We will return in just a minute to tonight's exciting case from the official file of your FBI.
May 25th, 1951, this is your FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now more of This Is Your FBI, Old Mother Larceny, May 25th, 1951.
And now back to the FBI file, Old Mother Larceny.
In tonight's FBI file, we have met a woman wholly unfit to bring up children. Naturally, her own moral irresponsibility and emotional immaturity were transferred to her sons. Small wonder they developed into criminals. That may seem unimportant to you, since this type of parent is fortunately rare. However, parental selfishness and neglect are not rare, and it is probably true that a major part of all delinquency can be traced to either parental neglect or indifference. Awareness of this is largely responsible for the development of parent training courses, guidance clinics, and social service organizations which are available nowadays to almost everyone. Parents are urged to take advantage of them. Any parent who has any reason to feel that his children are getting out of hand should take prompt advantage of this expert assistance. Remember, in 9 cases out of 10, it takes a delinquent or indifferent parent to rear a delinquent child. Tonight's FBI file continues later that day at the local FBI field office. Special Agent Taylor has just entered.
Larry, we just missed Eric Martin.
Where?
At the Star Hotel. He checked out this morning.
No forwarding address, naturally.
No, and a man was there before me. Questioned everybody trying to find out where Martin went.
Who was he?
Well, I didn't get a name, but I got a description. He was about 6'3", very heavy-set, dark hair, and a scar on his left cheek that looked like a knife wound.
The man who slugged those watchmen?
That's what I figure. Police are checking their files now.
Well, I wish I could throw something into the pot.
No word on the binoculars?
The police questioned all suspected fences. There hasn't been a trace of them.
Well, Martin finding out he was wanted, maybe they decided to go under for a while. Huh?
Could be.
Well, if they did, we ought to... Pardon me.
Yeah, sure.
Taylor speaking. Yes, Captain. Oh, when? Where was that? Yeah, I see. Yes, of course. Thanks for calling. Well, our suspect must have caught up with Eric Martin. His body was just fished out of the river.
Huh?
Come on, Larry. Let's get over to the morgue.
Is that you, boy?
It's me, Ma.
Where's Danny?
At the garage.
Did he sell those things?
Nah, we were busy saying goodbye to a friend.
Oh, I'm sure glad you have so many friends.
Yeah, we got one less now.
Who?
Eric. He was going to cheat us.
Oh, Mr. Martin?
Mm-hmm. Me and Danny went for a boat ride with him. He fell overboard.
Oh, that's too bad. I was fixing lunch for him, too. Well, he wasn't very happy anyway.
Nah.
It's a shame he had to have his accident before he did that business for you. That way, at least, he'd have died rich.
Well, he told me the name of the man who wanted to buy the binocs.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, after we eat, I'll get somebody else to go see him.
We can go ourselves. Keep the money in the family.
But, Ma...
Son, the way prices are today, a person's got to try to keep every dollar he steals.
You the men to see the Martin body?
Yes, that's right.
Over here.
Thanks.
That's him.
That's Martin, all right.
That's a bad head wound.
Uh-huh.
marks on his face, Larry. Looks like he was beaten.
Yeah.
Is the medical report in yet?
Just came down.
Oh, thanks very much. Cause of death, skull fracture. Dead when he hit the ward. How about Martin's belongings?
Over on the table.
Thanks very much. Yeah.
Well, he didn't have very much.
No.
Auto keys.
Any numbers on the other side?
No.
May 25th, 1951. This is your FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion follows these messages from your favorite radio station. Just going to take a minute here to tell you about the big savings going on now, the clearance sale at mypillow.com. And you know, I've talked about how in my office I have a pair of my slippers, and they're really comfortable, and they're on clearance right now. The mypillow.com slippers, $25 a pair, limit 10. And I would buy 3 or 4 more pairs. Unfortunately, they're out of my size. They also have sheets, pillowcases, clothing items, all on special right now. Go to mypillow.com, click on the clearance tab at the top of the page, use my promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715. Limited sizes remaining in the MyPillow slippers, limited colors on other items. mypillow.com, clearance tab, promo code Wyatt, 1-800-928-4715. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. The conclusion of This Is Your FBI, Old Mother Larceny, May 25th, 1951.
It'd be tough to trace.
This key's got a number on it. That's all.
Hey, let me take a look at that.
Yeah.
I got the same kind of key last month when I rented a locker at the airport, and one company owns all those lockers. Let's call them, Larry, and see where this key belongs. There's another bank of lockers, Larry. 8, 3, 7...
There it is.
Yeah. Got it?
There's a bag, Jim.
Open it, will you?
Right. One change and a bottle opener.
This porter's tag on the handle has number 17 on it. Let's try and find him. Larry, I located number 17.
You remember Martin?
Yeah, he was here this morning.
With anyone?
No, alone. Come on.
Where are we going?
Porter saw Martin going out that door. If he took a cab, the starter might know where he went. Larry, we're closing in.
What did you find?
The starter remembers Martin taking a cab.
Where to?
He doesn't know, but this morning's drivers have cashed in, so let's hit the cab garage and start checking trip records.
Can you leave the truck here?
After 5 o'clock, you can park any place.
You go ahead, Ma. We'll wait here.
All right.
Eric said the man's name was Wilson.
Mr. Wilson, I remember.
Good luck, Ma.
Can I help you?
You're Mr. Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
I have binoculars here in this box. How much will you give me?
Well, I'll have to see them first.
Go ahead, open it.
These are quite good.
How much?
$20.
Oh, Mr. Wilson, they're worth more.
Not to me.
Well, all right. You want more?
How many more?
9 dozen?
I couldn't buy that many without knowing where you got them.
Well, my husband, he has a trucking business. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Right now, it's bad. One of his customers, he can't pay the bill. He told my husband to keep the goods.
And these binoculars are the goods?
Yeah.
Where are the others?
In the truck outside. Come on, I'll show you.
I can't leave the store right now, but perhaps you wouldn't mind showing them to these gentlemen.
Oh, you want to see the glasses?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the owners?
No, Mrs. Berian.
Well, who Who told you my name?
We're special agents of the FBI. We just arrested your sons outside. Come on, we can all ride down to headquarters together.
Mrs. Berian and her two sons, Albert and Daniel, were turned over to local authorities. They were tried and convicted in a state court on a charge of murder. In checking the cab records, Special Agents Taylor and Dodge found that one trip made at the time Eric Martin left the railroad station had been from the terminal to Wilson's pawn shop. Since that was a likely place to dispose of binoculars, they waited in the hope someone would appear and try to consummate the sale. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is a vital message on our nation's internal security from J. Edgar Hoover, Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Mr. Hoover's message is, and I quote, "The term subversive activities applies to activities on the part of any individual or organization which is intended to forcibly overthrow the American government or to give aid to its enemies. Your FBI has been entrusted with the duty of coordinating the investigation of subversive activity on a national basis. All law enforcement agencies, patriotic organizations, and loyal citizens are requested to report information relating to subversive activities to the FBI immediately. This is an important contribution that the private citizen can make to the nation's security program." Next week, we will dramatize another case from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Its subject, homicide. Its title, The Night Rider.
The incidents used in tonight's Equitable Life Assurance Society's broadcast are adapted from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. However, all names used are fictitious, and any similarity thereof to the names of places or persons, living or dead, is accidental. Tonight, the music was composed and conducted by Frederick Steiner. The author was Jerry D. Lewis. Your narrator was William Woodson, and Special Agent Taylor was played by Stacey Harris. Others in the cast were Tony Barrett, Ted DeCorsia, Charles Maxwell, John Mitchum, Jeanette Nolan, Victor Rodman, and John Sheehan. This Is Your FBI is a Jerry Devine production. This is Larry Keating speaking for the Equitable Life Assurance Society of the United States and the Equitable Society's representative in your community, and inviting you to tune in again next week at this same time when the Equitable Life Assurance Society will bring you another thrilling transcribed story from the files of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
May 25th, 1951, This Is Your FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the wind-up, Part 5 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Tears of Night Matter. This episode originally broadcast May 25th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
Good morning, darling. Hello. We should get married today.
Is your name Teddy Davis?
What? Who is this? Where's Elise?
My name's Johnny Dollar. I'm in her apartment.
What? Hey, what?
Now listen to me. I'm an insurance investigator, and there've been a couple of murders here.
Murders? In Elise's apartment?
She's going to need you and all the help she can get to bring her out of it. Mostly you. I've called homicide, and they're on their way, and it might be pretty rough for her.
I'll be right
over. Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Tears of Night matter. It was a long morning, and a lieutenant of police thought I was crazy when he met me in the apartment with 2 dead men and the hysterical woman. My face was bruised and black and blue from the beating the dead men had handed me the night before. The lieutenant, his name was Brady, had a time getting hold of Hillary Fuchs to back up my story. But Teddy Davis was a different matter. He showed up with a doctor and lawyer. And through their combined efforts, Elise Wendover was removed not to police headquarters, but to a private hospital. It was obvious from powder tests that Mrs. Wendover could not have fired the .45 which ended the lives of Feely and Toby. obvious to me. Lieutenant Brady was a skeptical man.
You stay right there and keep your trap shut. I'll figure out what to do with you in a minute. All right, come on, get those baskets out of here.
I say, Dollar.
Hi, Teddy. How's Mrs. Wendover?
Well, that remains to be seen. She's screaming about that darned curse again. She thinks she had something to do with these murders. Dollar, I don't know quite how you fit into all this. I do know I'm terribly indebted to you for calling me. Now, what can I do for you? Are you in trouble?
I don't think so. Brady's just excited. He can't see where I should be involved, so he suspects me.
Of what?
Oh, he doesn't know that. He's a policeman, and he suspects everybody. But don't you worry about it. You get back to her.
I really do have a good lawyer. He can work on it if you give the word. I can't just walk out of here feeling that you're in jeopardy. Now, what can I do?
I thought you were over at the hospital, Mr. Davis.
I was. I came back to see what I could do for Mr. Dollar.
You can scram now.
Watch whom you're talking to, Lieutenant. This man is my friend.
Hey, are you kidding?
Not a bit.
Take it easy, fellas. Take it easy.
Yeah. You said your name's Dollar, insurance dick. Let's see your buzzer. Okay, out of Hartford. What's the job?
Mrs. Wendover's husband died 2 years ago. She just got around to filing for benefits last week. We were curious about it.
Go on.
Well, can't you see, Mrs. Wendover?
Let him, huh?
As near as I can make out, Mrs. Wendover's overlooked a lot of things since her husband's death. Taxes, bank accounts, whatnot. Hillary Fuchs can tell you that much.
This curse business she mumbles about.
Well, she lost her husband. Before that, her brother, killed in the war, and her father before that.
You know, you don't seem to pay much attention. I explained all of it.
I'm going to pop you in the cooler if you open your mouth again, Mr. Davis. Go on. How about the insurance?
Well, all okay. I was ready to leave town last night. As a matter of fact, I'd called for a plane from Fuchs' office. When a man named Scanlon came in, mistook me for Fuchs, and said Sam Costigan wanted to see me. Costigan's got a gambling place on the hillside.
Yeah, we know about it. Go on.
Well, Costigan gave me a necklace, the Tears of Night. Said it belonged to Mrs. Wendover. He asked me to bring it back to her. Said she'd pawned it at the roulette table. When I got here, Mrs. Wendover was wearing the Tears of Night, or something that looked just like it. Well, I was curious. I looked up the jeweler who had made it, a man named Mortuus. He said I was carrying the real thing. When I left his place, a couple of men from Costigan's place followed me.
Who?
Those two who were killed, Feely and Toby. They caught up with me outside of this apartment house and tried to shake me down for the necklace. But I'd mailed it to myself at my hotel. So they worked me over and left me there. When I came to earlier this morning, I came up here and found Mrs. Wendover sitting here in a state of shock. The two stiffs in her room.
That's it?
Yeah, Brady, that's it.
How long you been an insurance dick?
14 years.
You bonded?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you going to let him go, or aren't you?
Shut up. Shut up, and I'll tell you both what I'm up against here. I know Mrs. Wendover couldn't have had anything to do with the killings. I know you, Dollar, couldn't either.
Then go out and find who killed those two men.
Those two and the other one.
Huh?
Costigan was gunned down a couple of hours ago.
About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Brady released me, and Teddy Davis drove me back to my hotel. The clerk at the desk looked at my bandaged face and turned 8 shades of white when he handed me my key. I thanked him and told him I'd kept a date with a Barracuda. And I was feeling kiddish. Also a little dizzy and a little tired. I was looking forward to a hot shower and 10 hours sleep when I walked in my room.
Ah, Dollar, I've been expecting you. Come in, sir, come in.
Oh, hello, Mr. Mortuus.
I've been amusing myself with this pocket chess set of yours. Mexican, eh? Sit down, sit down. You've had a hectic night.
Your boys were pretty rough, Mr. Mortuus.
Philly and Toby are two men of another world, Mr. Dollar, not of our world. Allow me to apologize for their actions.
I want more than an apology. They almost beat me to death.
And so unnecessary, too. You know, I underestimated you, Mr. Dollar. Such an ingenious method of protecting the tears of night. Why, sir, by the simple expedient of placing it in an envelope and mailing it to yourself from my hotel lobby, you hired as guardians the entire United States Postal Service, not to mention the armed forces.
Yeah. Want one of these?
No, thanks. I'm one of those faint-hearted persons who cannot abide liquor until after 6 in the afternoon.
What happens now?
We wait for the mail.
We do, huh?
Precisely.
Then while we're waiting, maybe you'll be kind enough to tell me about the double cross.
If you can bear my vanity, Mr. Dollar, I have invented a new word, triple cross. It has a ring to it, eh?
That sounds likely.
You see, Mr. Scanlon approached me last week and asked me to duplicate the Tears of Night Mrs. Wendover had truly pawned at the gaming table. Naturally, I became suspicious.
Let me guess what you became suspicious of.
Oh, well, it was fairly obvious that Mr. Scanlon was planning to double-cross Mr. Costigan. That is, when the time came to return return Mrs. Wendover's necklace, he, Scanlon, intended to return the bogus piece I made up.
And you got into the act.
That is when I first conceived my own plans, yes. Unfortunately, Mr. Costigan learned of the little deceit going on around him, and Mr. Scanlon was forced to shoot him.
So Scanlon shot Costigan. How about Toby and Feely?
Mrs. Scanlon again, abetted by the last of the house of Mortius.
You helped him kill them, then planted them in Elise Wendover's apartment.
Oh, dear, a crude touch, I thought, but it had a purpose. With 2 cadavers in a living room, she was very unlikely to discuss a bogus necklace with the police, and I doubt very much if she knew whether she was wearing the original or an imitation. Flighty girl.
That's the lousiest thing the House of Mortuus ever did. She walked in and found these 2 there, and the doctor doesn't know whether she'll ever be sane again.
Oh, dear. If you had merely returned the necklace to Mrs. Wendover, it would have been a simple thing to effect an exchange, and none of this would have been necessary. Well, then, bygones are bygones.
Yeah, sure, I know. You just sit here and wait for the mail.
No. We wait for the mail.
What about your playmate, Scanlon? Why isn't he waiting with you?
Scanlon? I'm afraid I'll be sought for a murder of 2 or 3 this night. I'm certain the police will find his body before the day is out, but I did need him to help me carry the bodies to Elise Wendover's apartment. Elise. Tell me something, Mr. Dollar. Does that name Elise bother you as much as it bothers me? Give me a woman with a name like Celeste or Josephine or Roxanne. Those, sir, are names for the creatures. But Elise, twaddle.
Where are the police going to find Scanlon?
Oh, in my hotel room, which I departed hastily once the room clerk had informed me of your ingenious method for protecting the necklace. I shot him there.
You work cheap, Mr. Mortuus.
Cheap, sir? I don't understand.
$10,000 necklace. It's not quite a king's ransom, is it?
The tears of night are worth closer to $100,000. I'm afraid I misinformed you as to their value. I didn't want you to become suspicious.
I suppose you think you'll get away with it.
Well, I'm an old man. Attended to a destitute and bankrupt jewelry firm with nothing ahead, a few grim years, and finally a whimpering end. Requiescit in pace. Live. That's what I want to do. Live. And this is my opportunity to live like a king. And, young man, I've taken it. Veni, vidi, vici.
You're crazy. You're crazier than a mosquito in December, Mr. Mortuus. They'll grab you before you make the airport.
I don't think they will. I shall leave here and turn the tears of night into cash. With a well-laden purse, I shall guarantee to elude the police over half the world. In 2 years, maybe 3, yes, they'll get me. But I'll have spent the money. And what more could a man ask than a perfect fulfillment of all his wishes, eh? I ask you, sir, as one gentleman to another, what more could a man ask? Cautious, Mr. Dollar. I do shoot well. Answer it. Tell them to go away. I'll be right beside you. All right. Open it.
One side, Dollar. I got a gun.
Scanlon!
I thought I'd find you waiting for the mail. You dirty. You didn't do such a good job on me.
Caution, Mr. Scanlon. I have a gun, too.
I'll last long enough to let you have it.
Your loss of blood has made you groggy, Mr. Scanlon.
But still good enough.
Scanlon rolled over and lay still. Mortuus kind of grunted and leaned back against the wall. He had a pained look on his face.
Mr. Dollar. Mr. Dollar. I do believe I've been shot. I'll need a little assistance. I can't seem to hold my feet, sir. I can't seem to hold my feet.
Lie still.
It was an awkward plan at best, eh? De mortuis nil nisi bonum, Dollar. Or if your Latin still escapes you, speak well of the dead.
Let me have the police. Expense account. Well, expense account total. $405.16. Details? Mrs. Wendover will recover. Remarks? I'll stand for the last 2 days of expense myself. I didn't have any business sticking my nose in the jewelry end of it. But if you make me pay for them, don't ever try to hire me again. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, here's our star to tell you about next week's intriguing story.
Next week, the matter of a reasonable doubt. A case of many doubts, and believe me, all of them are most unreasonable. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Heard in this week's cast were Virginia Gregg, Victor Perrin, Jack Crucian, Jay Novello, William Conrad, Frank Gerstle, Marvin Miller, and Will Wright. Musical supervision by Amerigo Marino and Carl Futina. Be sure to join us on Monday night, same time and station, for another exciting story of yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
A sad, sad ending. Too many dead people, even if some of them probably deserved it. May 25th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Would you thank this radio station, support their advertisers? Their kindness and courtesy allow us to be with you each and every time you roll around. Our webpage, classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me. You can find our social media links. You can also find places where our shows are available via podcast. And you can also buy me a coffee. The Buy Me a Coffee money helps us acquire additional classic radio collections and also maintain our distribution channels. That's at classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.